let's get into it. We also obviously have been trying a few little things with our AI and automation journey. Obviously HubSpot has these automation tools, but now incorporating the AI tools into HubSpot obviously is a big one that's been happening this year, right? So obviously as we started using it internally, we started feeling the power of it. And obviously once we learn and we start seeing something that is working really well, obviously we want to share it with the world, right? So that's the intent. That's how we are here today. uh, the speaker today is Nilanjana. She's been at Niswey, 7 years now, I think, little more maybe. Sorry, been a while. But yeah, she's been doing content marketing, since she joined us. Now she does a lot of things, but content marketing is her real forte. And she was also the first one at Niswey, a few months back when she started playing around with the HubSpot chatbot and AI tools, right? And when we saw the results, we obviously thought, okay, this is the way to go forward. Um, so yeah, I mean, without any much any taking any further time, I like Nilanjana to take over. She'll take us through the AI tools today and how we can use it into our marketing, the HubSpot AI tools basically, and how we can use it into our marketing. Yeah. The chat box remains open, so feel free to drop in your questions. Most likely we'll take all the questions at the end, but if there is we'll keep a track. If there is something that needs to be addressed right away, we will we'll pause Nilanjana and we'll help try to get these answers right away. Yeah. So in the end, anyway, we'll have a 5-10 minutes Q&A so to take up, but feel free to keep dropping your questions throughout. Okay, that's it from me. Nilanjana, all yours, and welcome.
All right. Hi, guys. And Abhinav, if you could just confirm that you can hear me fine, all that. Okay, great. So, hi, good afternoon if you are in India, and just hello and welcome if everybody is joining from outside of India. I see quite a few people joining from outside of India as well. So, yeah. Yeah, as Abhinav said, Nilanjana here, and yes, I've been working with Niswey for 7 years now. Started off with content, and then branding, design. If you're a marketer, you're basically doing everything. So that's kind of the thing with me right now. So yeah, I'll just start sharing my screen, and we will dive right into it. Okay. All right. Yes, I hope you can see my screen right now.
We can, but
Okay, okay, great.
it's not full screen, is it?
Yes, I'm just trying to see why that might be happening.
Yeah, because it's appearing in probably only about 60-70% of the area instead of the full area. So for some reason,
Yeah, can you can you see it now, or you can't see it now?
nope, can't see.
Can't see it now. Share screen again. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, and
Okay.
better also.
It's full screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you would have gotten a lot of mails and reminders. So the topic definitely is how to harness the ultimate AI power combo. But before we get into that, I'm just looking at maybe the last quarter of 2022 when all of this sort of not exactly started off, but like really started to catch a lot of steam and all of that. So just going into that a little bit. So since probably last year, our all of our social media feeds has probably been looking something like this. It will change. AI will change marketing. The rise of uh, AI pie within marketing. People getting out with videos of the different AI tools, what all you can do with AI, how startups are leveraging all of that. So it's been like since last year. If you remember your Twitter or LinkedIn feeds, it's a lot of AI talk. Obviously has been that it's coming for our jobs. What will we do if AI can do everything that we do? So I just wanted to touch upon that also a little bit. So few of the numbers that are coming out are, in the future, 15 to 20% of all the work that we do in front of a computer will be automated by AI. 75 million jobs could be displaced by AI driven automation. So all of that is there. The numbers might be a little here and there, but we all have heard uh, stats like this. Uh, but the question is AI really coming for our jobs? And I would say, I can say the answer is sort of like depends on what we think our job is. But if you just like dig a little deeper into it, I think the answer is going to be no. AI is not coming for our jobs. Essentially, what it's going to do is it is going to us from doing our jobs, like doing a great job, to actually doing a phenomenal job with AI. So let's look at some more numbers. And like this is coming from HubSpot as well. So marketers can save about like more 3+ hours per piece of content. Salespeople can save about 2+ hours per day. Service reps can save about 2+ hours per day with the help of AI. So those are good numbers for us, right? Who doesn't want to save more time, like get their work done earlier, and just do other things, do better things, do things that we love maybe more than marketing. So that's there. 35% rise in productivity is predicted for marketing professionals. How to leverage AI. And obviously, if it can replace a lot of resources, it can replace a lot of manpower, I would say, or man hours that we spend doing a lot of this grunt work, and that can really lead to 30% rise in savings with AI powered marketing processes. So those are good numbers. And I think those are the numbers that we would like to focus on actually when it comes to AI. Here's why all of this is going to happen. First up is because, like, and I'm writing here one tool, but what I mean is actually just the power of AI would be equal to a whole team. And by that I don't mean you replace a whole team with just AI. It just means that whatever team you have now is equal to maybe 2x 3x that, in terms of the ability or in terms of the amount of work that they're able to have. 5% team with AI, it may be like it may be equal to a 15% team in terms of what it can do and what it can deliver. So what we are going to be seeing is maybe AI being a sort of leveler. So irrespective of whether a big enterprise has a 15% team or whether your company or agency has like a 5% marketing team, you would be able to deliver the same amount of work, do the same great stuff that they are able to do with a 15% team. So I think that one AI tool leveraged properly is going to be equal to a whole team. Second, and I think as a content writer or as a content marketer, I find this the most appealing, is there is no horror of the blank slate for me. Sometimes if I'm starting to write, or even if I'm like thinking about a particular campaign, like your brain tends to start from scratch, like you're just looking at a blank sheet or blank document, and I'm like, where do I start from? Where is the intro? Like, what do I write? And usually you will see that taking something from scratch to draft one is way harder than taking something from draft one to the next level. So with AI, you typically don't have to waste a lot of time looking at the blank screen. You can just go ahead and just ask your questions, get AI to hit the ground running, start giving you answers, and then you can actually pick up from those answers and kickstart yourself. So you can focus your energies on going from draft one to um, what an idea can actually be to its greatest levels, rather than struggling to take it from scratch to a particular standard. And that also makes sense for not just you, because a lot of us here would be, let's say, experienced marketers, in the sense that we've been in the field and we know how a campaign goes, or we know how to structure a particular thing. So, and that has come with, let's say, years of experience. But maybe not everybody in your team has the same level of experience. Maybe there are new people who have joined, people who have not done as many campaigns or as much work that you have done. But even they don't have to start from, let's say, like a completely blank slate. AI can get them to a particular level before you start helping them, or start reviewing their work and take it to a different level. So does shorten a lot of the learning curve even for new people, and you don't feel like you are in a team where your learning is at one level and the rest of the team is just like completely new. AI would help you bridge that gap also, where they can start something and get it to a level where then you can come in and take it better, or make it better. So yeah, I think that's the third thing. You can focus on going from one to infinity rather than taking it from zero to one. And then finally, as I said, more time for the good stuff. And by good stuff, I mean whatever is good stuff for you, whether that is focusing more on the strategic part of things, focusing more on how to improve, customer relations, focusing more on how to increase learning for your team, whatever is good stuff for you. But the grunt work can be done by the AI while you do stuff that is, more value added. So I think for me, as far as I see, those are some of the key reasons why AI is going to be a good thing for us if used correctly. And then, so if all of those are the benefits that we are going to be able to see, let's start with putting that AI to work. So yeah, the ultimate power combo, as I see right now, is going to be ChatGPT, Content Assistant within HubSpot, and the ChatSpot.ai that HubSpot has launched in private alpha. So with the combination of these three things, I think there is a lot that we can achieve when it comes to marketing campaigns. Let's just take a quick look, and then we can dive deeper into how each of these things are happening. So first up, let's say the campaign ideation part, which mostly ChatGPT and ChatSpot are like a good tool combination, which can get a lot of stuff done in terms of campaign ideation, or when you're just like let's say starting to plan something. Next up is the execution part of it. So whether that is keyword ideation, landing page ads, a lot of that stuff you can do with a combination of all the three tools. So ChatGPT, Content Assistant, and ChatSpot. And finally, we have the reporting part of it, uh, where ChatSpot is the where ChatSpot has become this really, really powerful tool that can, get things to you at your fingertips with just natural language queries. So in the next uh, in the next half an hour, 40 minutes, we will be diving deep into each of these verticals: ideation, execution, reporting, and look at how exactly we can use these tools to get all of this done. All right. So yeah, to start off with, let's say we're getting into campaign research, and I think ChatSpot is a great tool to see how to do campaign research. Not exactly how to do campaign research, more in the sense that if you have an idea of this is the kind of campaign that I want to run, and you, let's say, need to get numbers, or need to get some data in order to see whether this idea works or not, or validate something. And if you need to check up on this data that resides within HubSpot, then ChatSpot is a very good tool for you. So what ChatSpot is able to do is leverage that CRM data, or to an extent a lot of public company data as well, to spark campaign ideas. So can you, just by maybe dropping a yes in the chat, can you indicate how many of you have used ChatSpot so far, if at all? I just want to maybe get an idea. And Abhinav, maybe you can just, like, because I'm not looking at that screen, can you tell me if there are any yeses, if there is anybody who has used ChatSpot?
Couple of yes, in fact, 3 yes. Oh, lots of yes actually. Couple of no's
Okay,
as well.
great, great. Okay, so there are people who have used ChatSpot. For people who, let's say, haven't used ChatSpot, I just want to give a quick look at what it might look like as well, for the people who haven't used it yet. Again, Abhinav, can you confirm the screen has changed?
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah. Okay. So within ChatSpot, and I think one of the really great things about it is that it has sort of it started off with just you typing the questions, but I think now they have also sort of given the prompts for marketers to be able to try out questions on their own. So as you can see here, there's a lot of different kinds of prompts grouped together. If you go into content writing, you will see a couple of different kinds of prompts. If you go into reporting, you will see other stuff and all of that. So with that, so there are prompts here as well that you can just, ask, or you can type your own prompts. But essentially, if you have data within HubSpot that you want to check up without actually really opening HubSpot and going into this list and finding me this number or applying this filter, all of that is also a lot of work. So instead of that, what you can just do is, can you tell me the contacts added in the last 3 months? Can you find companies with an annual revenue of this much? If you're researching competitors, you can just ask, what is the, let's say, what are the PPC keywords that this particular company is using? Can you tell me that? So ChatSpot essentially has the powers of ChatGPT plus looking things up online on its own as well to get you some of this data. So if I ask ChatSpot these questions, just to maybe spark off, let's say I want to run a campaign on people who have just joined my contact list or something like that. So I can ask new contacts added in the last 3 months, and ChatSpot will just give me a list of that. So here, ChatSpot will just give me a list of that. So let's say if for a competitor, let's say for Accenture, I looked at what are the keywords that they run ads on. So currently Accenture is running ads on these particular keywords. So if I ask certain questions, let's say I have a campaign idea and I want to validate some stuff to be able to understand whether that campaign will work or not, or what I can do with it, I can simply ask ChatSpot and it will look at my HubSpot data, it will look at some outside data and get me those results. One of the key sort of, let's say, benefits here is that even if you have a team member who is not very well versed with HubSpot right away, like they can't go and look at apply 4 different filters to get to a particular set of data, they can simply ask ChatSpot. They don't have to know HubSpot completely to be able to write a natural language query. So that is where it sort of brings in that value. And if you see, the idea has to come from a human being. The chatbot or whatever the AI is can only validate it, can get you the data, all of that, but the idea is still you. So the marketer is definitely the one who's always calling the shots here. So that's the first thing of ideation, which is let's say campaign ideas or just like pre-campaign research. Next up, you can also look at, let's say, generating campaign ideas. Now this one I would take, let's say, with a pinch of salt, and I would come to that later as well. But let's say you can use ChatGPT to get a whole host of campaign ideas for your marketing, because there's a lot of times where we know how to market a particular thing and we sort of, let's say, tend to get stuck with doing the same 5 things in order to market or in order to run a campaign. And this is where ChatGPT can come in and shake things up a little bit. It can give you a list of ideas that are, let's say, evident that you would know about, but maybe if you ask the right questions, it can also give you a set of ideas that you might not have thought about. So it's like a good tool to brainstorm with as well. And what you would need to include ideally in a prompt to get actually a useful answer or get a good answer is, what is it that you are trying to sell, who is it that you are trying to sell to, what would be the overall campaign goal, whether you want to bring people to the website, whether you want to get them to download something or buy something. And obviously, the more context that you can add to your question, the better that is. So once your prompt includes all of that and you put it in, ChatGPT would be able to, let's say, give you a set of ideas. Some of them might be very things that you already know to do. Some of them might be things that you might not have thought of or wouldn't have immediately crossed your mind. So that can so that is another way to let's say, campaign ideas. For example, if you can see my screen, I've looked at, let's say, I've thought of this and all of that, and I've also asked it to act as a marketing mastermind or just like given it a particular role, so that the program sort of assumes that role and gives me an answer at that or at that level of complexity, let's say. So I said, as a marketing mastermind, create 3 campaign ideas to promote theme downloads. So one is, it gave me, let's say, a regular idea, run some ads and have a landing page and something like that. But it also gave let's say something that I would not have thought about, which is like a, let's say, challenge. Do a competition, ask people to create their websites and share it and all of that. Now this is something that, let's say, I wouldn't have thought about immediately, but again is an idea that I got just because I used ChatGPT as a sounding board in this case. So yeah, I think that is something that you can do to, obviously you might not get a lot of great ideas right away, but the first that you get, you might want to refine your prompt a little bit, ask it a little bit more, probe a little bit more, and get another set of ideas, which you can then take to your team and then work upon later on as well. So yeah, so that's the second thing, which is campaign ideas essentially. And I think another really great use that I found for me was creating project plans. So once you have an idea, usually it's not just you who is working on it, you have a team to work on it definitely. And we put things in, whether that's a project management board or we will put it on Excel, wherever you want to put it. But I think the key step becomes breaking things down into, okay, if this is the campaign, then these are the tasks that need to get done in order for the campaign to launch. So in that case, and sometimes some of us are good at really breaking that down, and some of us are not. So sometimes what you can do is just take your campaign plan, put it into ChatGPT, tell it what level of detailed execution steps you want, and anything else you want to specify. So basically, if you tell ChatGPT, this is my campaign idea, can you give me details execution in order to launch this campaign? So once you do that, ChatGPT is going to give you something like this. So let's say I chose one of the campaign ideas that it gave, and I say, make me a step-by-step campaign execution plan. So then it went on to, let's say, defining a campaign goal, defining the price, creating a landing page, visuals, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of this. So it gave me a list of 12 steps. Now, to some of us, this might seem like a really basic example of what ChatGPT can do, which, like, objectively, it might be a basic thing. But when you think about it as a marketer who has 50 different things to do on their plate, rather than breaking down the campaign project for their team, this is a really quick way to get a breakdown and just assign tasks to people. So again, this another sort of very key place where I find it saves me a lot of time and saves me a lot of mind space as well. All right, so those are the three key ideas to use or leverage AI and generative AI when it comes to campaign ideation. Next up, let's move to execution. So when it comes to campaign execution, there's obviously a lot of things that need to get done. The most important among which is generating content. Now, when I say generating content, it's not just like a blog. I mean content in all its forms, whether you're doing a landing page or launching an ad or writing, putting up social media posts. You need content like everywhere. And I think this is one of the places where ChatGPT comes in handy. So let's say starting on pages, um, you can just ask ChatGPT to, let's say, create an outline for you. Once you get that outline, you can simply take it into HubSpot, and in HubSpot you can just create your landing page layout. And with Content Assistant, you can try out different, let's say, headings. You can try out different types of copy, and then whatever copy you have gotten from ChatGPT, you can put it into your landing page layout, and then just get it ready, what kind of CTA you want, all of those things. For example, let's say if I were to show you, yeah, so I asked ChatGPT to, let's say, create a landing page outline for me. So what it did was put together, okay, it should have a headline which can look like this, it can have an introduction which can look like this, benefits, visual, all of this. Uh, let's say I have, let's say, 4 or 5 years worth of experience. So for me, this is basic. Let's say I would know, yes, for a landing page, I would need all of this. But think of it this way: if you were to, let's say, delegate creating this landing page to somebody who's new in your team, who doesn't have that much experience, and just give them this, That acts as a really great jumping off point for them to know, okay, these are the sections that my landing page should have. Let me put it together. This is the sample content, and now I can go ahead and maybe refine the content. So all of that is possible. But again, you see here what ChatGPT does is, if you ask of it, it will give you like a basic framework. It will give you a draft one that your team can work upon to refine, and then you can work upon to, let's say, have a final review of. But it saves you time from starting from like a completely blank slate. I think the same is the case with blogs. And here, and this is like, if you have access to content assistant within HubSpot, this is like a really, really, really great tool for people who are writing blogs. Okay, so with content assistant, there's a lot that can be done, and if you've not tried it out till date, it's let me give you like a quick look at it. So with content assistant, what you can ask it to, first up, you can just ask it to generate ideas. So let's put in, generate 5 blog topics for a theme that I have. So then it gave me, let's say I have a screenshot of 3 topics here. It gave me blog ideas. Now I chose one of this and I said generate an outline for this. So then content assistant gave me an outline. Okay, these are the 3 headers that you can put together in your blog. I took each of those headers and say generate a paragraph on this. So it will generate a full paragraph. And then once it generates a paragraph, I can select that and say, okay, rewrite it and make it, let's say, witty or professional or friendly. Or I can say rewrite this, or I can just say I can write a few lines and just say expand on it. So there are a lot of these things that I can do within content assistant. For example, let's say here I am within a blog. If I were to, let's say, go slash, it will ask me what I want to do right now. Let's say I want to generate ideas. It'll ask me, give me a prompt, and then once I give it a prompt, it is going to, give me this set of ideas. And then similarly, I can choose each and ask it to expand on each idea. So with that, once again, a very, very quick way to get a jump start on your content strategy, get a jump start on what this topic should be like, what all it should include. And then obviously you can ask the content assistant to write all of it, but you will also have to keep a lookout, because it's going to, once it is AI generated text, it's going to be great looking, but you'll have to really look closely in order to make sure that it reads smoothly once everything is in place. So that is where you will be required, your expertise and your experience will be required. But this is a really good tool to go from 0 to 1. For you to go from 0 to 1, for your team to go from 0 to 1 very, very quickly. And here, what you can also do is whatever comes out, let's say content assistant is giving you a certain outline. Maybe you can take that outline into ChatGPT and then tell it to, fill in the blanks or tell me something about one particular header, and it will start giving you more paragraphs. It will start giving you more content that you can keep bringing into your blog. So with that, that is how you can, let's say, create a blog altogether. And then again, there is ChatSpot as well, which allows you to generate images. So you can say I need an image of XYZ, and ChatSpot is integrated with DALI 2, which will generate that image for you. So again, that is something you can take a look at, and you can leverage for your blogs. The third thing, and again, another thing that I have found to be extremely useful, is generating video scripts with ChatGPT. Because so obviously for the video script, what your prompt should include is definitely what is the product or service that you want to sort of, let's say, create the video. Who is it talking to, how long do you want the video to be, and some amount of style guidance, as in, let's say, you can say something as ambitious as make me a video for XYZ in the style of Wes Anderson, or in the style of, let's say, what's that other director whose name I forget, but let's say in the style of this particular director. So they can do that for you. And it's really fun sometimes to play around with that. And sometimes that might be a really viral marketing idea if you think about it. So that is where it can really generate that script for you. And also, and I think this one time where I found it really to be really helpful was telling it what your limitations are, because as a marketing company sometimes we don't have huge production budget, so we want to make videos that are more simplistic in style, or more simplistic in its production quality. And you can tell ChatGPT those particular let's say constraints that you have, and it will give you a script that will work well within those constraints. For example, what I did was, let's say I first asked it to give me a video to promote my theme. So it gave a particular script. But then I said, um, I want I wanted to take into account that this will be created on Canva. We will be using stock videos and screenshots, and we just want some compelling overlay text and a background score. So that is like the kind of video that I want. I want it to be as simple as that. And then ChatGPT gave me another video script which was shorter, which talked at what sort of stock image I can use, what sort of overlay text can I put in together, and all of that. So because I gave it a prompt that clarified the context, it gave me a much better answer the second time round. So with video scripts, and I think not everybody in your team would have, let's say, the skills to completely go into designing a video or ideating a video and all of that. So again, when I said if you don't have specialized resources for everything, ChatGPT, it becomes like a good starting point to give you some ideas, and then you can brainstorm and work with that and take it forward. So that was for video scripts. And I think other than that, there is obviously social and ads copy, which again, you say what is it that you want to sell. You can talk about character limits in the sense that okay, I want it for Twitter, so make it this many characters. You can give it a basic post idea. Okay, okay, this is XYZ what I want to say. This is the product, I want to talk about the features. This is the product, I want to talk about this particular benefit only. So with that, or with those kinds of prompts, it is able to generate that copy for you. For example, let's say you just tell it about your product in one go, in one prompt, and then ask it to make 15 to 20 different social posts for this one brief. So it can do that for you. So at one go you have 20 different social posts that you can just bulk upload into HubSpot, and just get it ready to roll out over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. You can ask 2, 3 versions of the same post. Maybe you have written a good post, um, maybe you have a really good blog post which you can feed into ChatGPT and just ask it, give me like 10 different blog posts, 10 different social posts from this one blog post. Okay, so you can do all of those things and cut down a lot of that grunt work that you do in terms of content promotion. Just cut that time into half with the help of ChatGPT. You can also do the same with ads. So let's say, for example, high converting Google ad copy, and adhere to the ad copywriting and formatting best practices. So it gives me a set of things that how to write my Google ad copy. Let's say I said write it for Twitter, so, or give me 15 social posts. So this is an example of what it created for me, like at one post. So those are some of the things that you can do. I also, sometimes it will give you like really great posts that you can just put it out there, and that will be fine. Sometimes you might have to look at it once or twice to make sure that it really is compelling, or you can just ask ChatGPT to do a rewrite for you as well. But what you have with ChatGPT when it comes to, let's say, social posts or ad copies, is you have like a ton of different options, a ton of different ideas, and then you can bring your expertise into play, saying mix and match some of these, or combine this one headline from here and a description line from there to really make this ad copy compelling. That is where our expertise as marketers has to come into play. That is where we take it from one to infinity, whereas ChatGPT just put all the ingredients in front of us as to everything that's possible. So now we have everything at hand. Now we can cook up something that's really great. So that was social and ads. And then I think there's the same with email copy as well. And I think with email copy, you don't just have ChatGPT, but you also have ChatSpot to rely on, actually, and you can just tell them what kind of email you want to write, who are you writing to, what is the ask or what is the action you want the reader to be able to take. You can also specify length. to craft your prompt properly, and then ask ChatSpot or ChatGPT to give you an email. So within ChatSpot, if you're asking this, you ChatSpot would probably ask you to give a product description, give a description of sorry, give a description of who you are writing to, and then churn out an email for you. Once again, grade 0 to 1. This is pretty decent. It can go as is. But if you are an experienced salesperson, you might want to make a few changes to it, make it tighter, or however you want to do that, and then send it out. But again, you can generate 5 or 6 different types of email copies from here and see what works best. Maybe you try that for A/B testing. Maybe you have like different copy for different emails. All of those things. And I think here is where again our experience comes into play. Let's say, how many different styles can I try? What all do I want to test out? All of those things can be done with the help of ChatSpot or ChatGPT to write your emails. You can definitely, once the email is written, you can also go in and ask ChatGPT, this is the email, can you give me 5 6 different subject line options for it? So all of those things are also. Or if you have a new person on your team, if you have a less experienced person on a team, they can do and see what else is out there, see and learn and practice how to make things better. And then finally, we get around to reporting, which is where ChatSpot really shines. Because as a natural language, let's say, processor, you just have to ask what you need. You input your campaign specifics. Let's say I am saying this is my campaign. I am sending. I have a landing page. I'm running a few ads which together make a campaign. Which are the metrics that I should be tracking in order to see the success of that campaign? So ChatSpot is going to tell you, okay, track email opens, track ad clicks, track cost per click, all of those things. Which again, as an experienced marketer, you might know, but as somebody who's just joining, or maybe you're not that experienced a marketer, you can use that as your jumping point as to, if this is my campaign, what are the metrics should I track? And ChatSpot will tell you about it. You can ask ChatSpot for any recent reports. As I said, how many contacts did we add between this to this? What are the open rates of this particular campaign? And if that data is within HubSpot, you don't have to do 5 different clicks to get to that data. You just have to ask ChatSpot, and it will just present all of that information to you. When it comes to reporting, there is also some other, a little more complex kind of reporting that ChatSpot is able to do, which is object plus property reports, which you can say which object you want to track and group by what property. For example, let's say I want to track contacts grouped by company name. And then when I put in this prompt, it gives me a particular set of results in a tabular format, which says, okay, this particular company has this many contacts in your database, this particular company has this many contacts in your database, and all of that. And this is just a very simplistic example at this point, but you can also, depending on what sort of properties you have, what your business looks like, you can look at that. Let's say company names by location, so you can see how many companies you have, or you companies or accounts you have in different locations, and maybe run a campaign according to that. So that, again, as I said, that is where your experience, that is where your skills as a marketer comes into play, as in, what is it that I search for, what is it that I ask for, in order to get intelligent results that will drive my marketing. So as I said in the beginning, whether AI will take our jobs or not really depends on what we see our job as. If we see our job as just actually finding some data and putting things on paper, or writing content and clicking live on the campaign, that is our job, then yes, our jobs might be at risk. But if we know that our job really is to bring the ideas to the table, really think of new ideas, uh, then our jobs are not at risk with AI. Then AI is just another tool in our belt to do a phenomenal job. So yeah, when it comes to reporting, those are some of the key things that ChatSpot is able to do. And so we looked at campaign execution, campaign ideation, campaign execution, and campaign reporting. I think I made a mistake here. This should be reporting as well. uh, yeah, so we looked at all of those three buckets. And I think while we've looked at all of those three buckets and I've talked about what are the possibilities with AI, I think there is also another aspect of it, which is where is it that we should be not exactly wary of it, but we should know where the limit is with respect to what is it that AI can do or what AI can achieve for us. So I wanted to talk a bit about that. And as I said, AI cannot really do your job. It can get you started. It can get answers to the kind or the complexity of questions that you ask. It can collect and summarize the building blocks of different of what is it that you want to build, and it can improve upon or suggest improvements to what you create, but it cannot do your job. So, keeping that in mind, it is important to know a few things when you are working with AI hands on. So, first up is the fact that you have to get your prompts right. And some of the key things to understand within that is uh, you have to, your prompt should contain as much context as possible. You have to state your objective clearly. Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write an ad copy for this particular product. This is my audience. This is where the ad will, show. I want it to be a LinkedIn ad or a Google ad. So all of those details that you put in your prompt act sort of ensure what kind of an answer or how correct an answer ChatGPT or any AI to give you. Another thing with ChatGPT, especially, is that when you role play with it, in the sense that if you tell it to act as a particular role, act as a salesperson, act as a marketing manager, act as XYZ, when you tell it to role play a particular role, it sort of, brings in some amount of that expertise or some amount of what that particular role of what a person in that particular role is supposed to know. It brings all of that knowledge into the answer that it's going to provide you. And one final key thing to remember is maybe not put all your information or context in one prompt. I tried doing that and it sort of became a little ChatGPT to really answer because I put it like a really long prompt. So then what I started doing was maybe break down my prompt. Let's say I gave some amount of context and some of the key things in the first prompt, then it gave me an answer. Then I asked, okay, take this answer and then do XYZ with it. So on each step, I started refining my prompt as I got new answers to get to, let's say, like a final answer that is really usable for me. And again, that is where experience comes in. That is where our knowledge of what is right or our knowledge of what is better comes into play. The second thing is, and this is critical, is not to publish the AI output as is. Just because it is coming out of the AI doesn't mean it is going to be 100% correct. Yes, it is going to be grammatically correct most of the times, but what you have to probably review is double check the data and all the stats that it has given for accuracy. You have to review the voice, tone, readability, whether all of it together is, reading fine or not. You might have to, let's say, add appropriate detail or add more content wherever needed so that the whole thing flows smoothly. And you might have to rewrite certain portions where you want to add value or you want to write a thought leadership piece of content that has to come from you. Those additions have to come from you because it is ultimately your insight, your opinion that is going to make the blog valuable for its readers. So that level of work you have to do on top of the AI generated output before it is, ready to go out into the world. So that's second. And I think the last one is the fact that do not use ChatGPT if up to date or current data is something that you are looking for. So it's not advisable to ask ChatGPT to do keyword volume research for you, because if you know that ChatGPT is just looking at data till 2021. So it wouldn't have, let's say, current keyword volumes. It's not advisable to ask ChatGPT to run your Google ad campaigns, or make decisions within that. A, because you have more experience. B, because Google has its own AI that can help out with that. So ChatGPT is probably not the place to ask suggestions for how to structure my Google ads, or something like that. And then finally, again, up to date research, because there is something called AI hallucinations, wherein ChatGPT randomly just actually makes up facts which are not true. So if you're doing current research, let's say on your competitors or something like that, then probably ChatGPT is, let's say, not the right place to be. However, even with that, in ChatSpot, there is actually a few prompts and a few capabilities that sort of cover up for, let's say, these drawbacks that ChatGPT has. One of which is essentially, if I'm going into research, um, one of which is funding data. So what ChatGPT is able to do is, if you have a company name, uh, you can just add a company URL, and it is going to pull some information on their latest rounds of funding, amounts raised, and stuff like that. There are some other company location research, individual research. So with ChatSpot, there is some amount of intelligence that can research current data. So you might want to come into ChatSpot under the research tab and see what are the kinds of research where this might be helpful actually. Funding data is definitely a key if you're a startup looking at competition analysis and stuff like that. For salespeople, company location information. For marketing people, PPC keyword research, as in like which company is running ads on which keywords. Those are some of the things that can come in really handy, and it actually comes with real time data. So I think that is where ChatSpot sort of like is a step ahead of ChatGPT in that respect. But other than that, do remember that not using ChatGPT, you're not using ChatGPT for keyword volume research or Google Ads stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, those are some of the cautionary items that I wanted to share. Once you really start getting your hands dirty with generative AI and all of these three tools. So yeah, I think, yeah, as I was just talking about ChatSpot, it takes ChatGPT and it has added everything that is inside HubSpot CRM, everything that is there to get with DALI 2, Google Sheets, Google Slides, marketing data, new company data. It's taken all of that and put it together. And if you've been following HubSpot's recent tweets and the material they've been putting out, they're really committed to making AI very well integrated within the platform. So as we move ahead, ChatSpot and Content Assistant both are going to be able to do a lot more than what they do now. So I would suggest, once you go back, if you're using HubSpot day in and day out, also start using these tools. You can go to ChatSpot AI, just link your account, and it will be able to. It's really a time saver in amount of like what all data it can pull for you by just typing. And actually, it's not just typing anymore. If you don't like typing, you can actually talk into it and it'll do the work for you. So that's even more time saved. Sometimes you just don't feel like typing, even if you are a content writer. So yeah, those are some of the things that you can do. And if you haven't tried it out yet, this is going to get a lot better in the coming few months. So I suggest you do get your hands dirty and try it out as soon as possible. So yeah, that is all I had. Thank you for coming to my talk. And yeah, if I'll just stop sharing and see if there are any questions or any conversation that we can have. Okay. Okay, I see a few questions. Where can I find Content Assistant? I think that Abhinav has already answered. Fetch data from the website.
So I'm just wondering if you want to show your screen and show it, how does that come up?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Abhinav?
I was asking if you can, do a screen share and show us the, content assistant where it comes in the
Oh
tool.
yeah, yeah, sure. Okay. Back again. Window.
I mean, just do a quick prompt, just the slash, and we'd like to
Okay.
see what happens there. I mean, it's very interesting.
Okay. Sure. So blog. So if you're using HubSpot, if you're writing blogs on HubSpot, so just come into any new blog post essentially, and all you have to do is do the forward slash, and it gives you a couple of different things that you can do. For example, let me start with generate ideas. So I can say, I can specify, give me 5 ideas for blog post around AI in marketing. And yeah, so it's given me what, 5 ideas. So that's there. AI is revolutionizing. How can it help you personalize future of marketing, maximizing ROI? Write something about this. So I'm choosing this and not inserting it right now. I'm just doing another prompt for which I want to generate an outline. So write an SEO friendly outline for yeah, sorry. Yeah, outline for maximizing ROI, how AI can enhance your marketing strategy, and enter. So yeah, it'll take a bit of time, but hopefully with answer. So yeah, it has given me some of the headings that I can write on: understanding AI's role in marketing, the basics of AI marketing, benefits of AI in marketing, learn how AI can enhance your marketing strategy. The second section can be leveraging AI for personalization. So it has given me a set of things, right? So now, if this outline looks good to me, I am good to go. If this outlines, if I think, and I can just take the same thing to ChatGPT and ask that for an outline. I can also combine to both of their results and maybe make a better outline on my own. So yeah, all of that is a possibility. Now, for example, let me take this. Discover how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the marketing industry. Okay, let's say I insert this. I've inserted this. So this whole outline, I've clicked on insert. The whole outline is here. So this can be my blog. Let's say now I'm going paragraph by paragraph, actually creating my blog. So I select this. It gives me this icon. I click on it and expand. So once I expand, it will give me an expanded paragraph, and there it is. So that is the paragraph. So this, let's say that's the first paragraph of my blog, that's there. I can also click on it, select it, and look at, let's say, change tone. I want it to be witty, so I chose witty, so it will change that tone, it will rewrite it a little bit. So let's say, see, if you can compare, artificial intelligence is transforming the marketing industry. So this is professional. Here it says AI is like a magic wand for marketers, helping them conjure highly personalized experiences. So this is more conversational. This is a little bit less professional because I chose witty. So it is using words like that, and I can just say insert, and it changes this up. So this is how you can, really leverage content assistant. You can go outline by outline, expand everything, and then read the final thing. If it reads fine, it might, if you know it might need some input from you in terms of making it flow smoothly, but it can get a lot of your work done. So something that you would have maybe done in 2 hours, and a lot of research can be done in maybe half that time. And then you can spend more time thinking how to make it better rather than just how to get to the first draft. So yeah, that is where you can, look at it or see how content assistant can be helpful.
Wonderful.
Okay, I think there was one question. Is there a way we can use the chatbot tool, fetch data from the website if there are any general queries asked by a website user? Currently, I don't think, Anand, to answer your question, they have done something that's like, um, let's say, that easy to put together. I have seen a few blogs here and there, let's say, where people have been trying to do that. I think what I'll do is on our end, just like dig a little bit more into that. And if that is possible, I think we will send you that or whatever solution we can find with the recording. But I think off the top of my head, I'm not really sure if there is like a simplistic way to achieve that right now.
Yeah, even I don't think that's possible, but yeah, let's look dig deeper.
Yeah. Any other questions, or even if not questions, comments, or if you have experienced using any of these AI tools, we would love to hear that. Things that have worked for you, maybe things that have not worked for you. That also you can share if that's it. And we'll just maybe wait for yeah, tying your HubSpot chatbot to your knowledge base, that can give you some answers if you have a product or if you're selling a product. That can definitely get you some answers if you have a knowledge base in HubSpot and a HubSpot chatbot. Makes customer service much easier that way, definitely.
Okay, unless we have more questions, maybe we can have Kashish, can we have the feedback form link? Folks, it really helps us if you give us, the feedback, what we need to do better, or what we need to continue doing good, what we are doing good, we need to continue, what we can change, that will really help us. So yeah, it would be wonderful. I know we are just over time, but I think uh, in general, probably now, all of us have understood what we can achieve using this, especially the content piece. A lot of us struggle with creating, or at least like as I was saying at the beginning, when a blank canvas is there, it's difficult to come up with ideas or where to start, right? I think that part HubSpot has really solved. Just topic, outline, keywords, those things are really useful, because then once you see something, at least we can start moving from there. I think that's the, at least for not those of us who don't write day in day out, I think that's really important.
Even for those of us who do write, I think the first blog that I wrote with the help of content assistant and chat gpt, I realized that it took me much less time to gather my thoughts together. If you are somebody who writes content, you would know that there is a brewing process. Like, you do your research, then you let it sit in your head for a couple of days before you actually start writing. I think that brewing time gets much lesser because you see things happening in front of you, like an outline coming up. So as the chatbot is thinking and giving you ideas, your brain sort of also works much faster that way. So I think even if you're doing content day in and day out, it's still a great help. Still saves a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, good, cool. So I think with that, let's close for the day. I think we have covered bits and pieces, but if you have any further questions, maybe we can drop. Lana, you can share your email address as well if people want to reach out to you later. uh, and obviously, folks, there is also the community links. You can join the community on LinkedIn or other places, right? All those social media things. But yeah, in general, feel free to reach out to me on Nilanjana. I will just put in my email ID as well. Feel free to reach out to us. Uh, Happy to help and answer any queries.
Yeah,
And yeah, so this was the first event, like I said, of the year. We'll be coming up with three more, and hopefully we'll go deeper as we learn more. Like I shared in the chat earlier, some of these tools are into private beta, and so you will have to access either by joining the waitlist or ask your account manager, your HubSpot folks, or if you're working with a solutions partner, HubSpot solution partners, ask them to ungate that for you, and you should be able to good to go and play with all these tools. Cool. Thanks so much, Nilanjana. It was wonderful. I hope everybody gives it a try, and we, do our job faster, better. And
definitely more power to us.
yeah,